D, wait for it, Lightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I just finished the latest episode of What If, and yeah, this show sucks. I can't deal with this show. It's very obvious that the AC Bradley, the showrunner and the head writer of the show, doesn't understand the what if concept and doesn't understand. Neither does Marvel. Disney's Marvel does not understand the what if concept. You know, I was just at the comic book shop the other day, and I picked up some what ifs because they had some. In fact, hold on. Here's one. I bought this one. One of them was, and then this one's just what if Storm of the X-Men had remained a thief, you know? And it's simple concepts like that. And I get that this one's like, what if Odin, oh, it fell on the floor, gave Loki back to the ice giant and he, you know, wasn't there, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the show is letting me down so hardcore because this is a show, and I've said it on my other reviews, that this was the show out of all the Marvel TV shows. This was the one I was most excited about because I love the what if comic books, and I love animation. And this show has just let me. The zombie ones is the only one that I've liked so far. The rest of them are mediocre to bad. And this one's bad. This one sucked so hard, and it's so obnoxious too. And I'll get into why it's obnoxious. I'll get into why it's now. It's because in this one, all the men in this episode are stupid, and all the women are just so fantastic. And it's so annoying that the way that they handled this, because I'll tell you right now, I would have, we'll just get into it in a minute, but it's just so obnoxious. I hate this show. I hate it so much. So there's, and I know I'm probably upsetting Marvel stans with this, but like this show's like not doing crazy well. I mean, like I know a lot of people that love Marvel, and they are not watching this show. Like I have a twin brother. He likes Marvel over like I'm a DC girl. He's a Marvel guy. But he loves Marvel, but he's not even watching this show because he's not interested. I think it's because it's animation, but he's not interested in this show. And then when I tell him the concepts, he's like, oh, okay, I don't need to see that. It's fine. But okay, so there's two things I want to say before we get started on this breakdown. The first one is that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine always get pushed to the back of the line. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. The second thing I want to say is I'm now selling merch. Look, I'm wearing my shirt right now. So you can check that out. Check this out first. Geek What is now a clothing brand that designs unique streetwear with a geek/nerd attitude. Some of the core values of Geek What is to see the geekdom for how amazing it is, which is something I've always encouraged on this channel. Here's a look at my latest shirt that was designed by artist Patrick Walters, with my favorite design being me as a cartoon. So if you like what you see, go ahead and click on the link in the description down below. I promise you won't be disappointed. So go over to there. The link will be in the description down below. Buy something. It really helps me out. Anyways, so let's get started on this episode. I'm really bummed. I'm so bummed about this show because you guys, I can't even, you are not as bummed as I am about this show not being good. Okay, so it starts off with its regular thing of the Watcher saying, time is not linear, it's circular. I'm paraphrasing, by the way, because I can't remember. And one moment can change everything. And it begs the question of what if? So it starts off with Darcy and Jane in the desert, like we saw in Thor. And she's sitting there and she's throwing peanuts, and they get this thing, and she tries to call SHIELD to let them know that aliens are coming to Earth and everything. So the blast goes down and it lands in Las Vegas, and all those Guardians come out and they're, Earthlings, your life is over and we get ready to party and everything. So then the Watcher's sitting there and he's talking about like how, what if Loki, because Loki kind of grounded Thor. I mean, I didn't see it, but whatever, because their bond as brothers and everything. And he learned a lot because of Loki. But in this world, Odin gave Loki back to the giant king, the frost giant king. And Thor didn't learn that whatever he learned from Loki. I don't know what he learned from Loki. I never got that, but whatever. Like they were just brothers. And I don't know, whatever. It doesn't even matter. So then the Odin sleep happens. And Frigga is off with her sisters to party or the solstice or whatever. And then Thor, she's like, no parties, Thor. You need to learn and everything. He's like, I'm going to learn, mother. And so she's like, Heimdall is watching and everything. And there he is watching. He's all like, we need to go someplace that just rocks and the beer flows like wine. And the women instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano. I'm talking about a little place called Midgard and everything. So they land in Las Vegas and they're partying up and they've invited everybody in the galaxy. They've invited Skrull. They've invited everybody. So Jane's sitting there and she figures out that Thor, this hottie patati, and everything is the first one. And she's like, I'm going to make first contact. And Darcy's all like, everybody's made first contact. You might as well talk to this loser. And she's talking about Howard the dog because nobody's talked to him and everything. They end up getting married. So he's sitting here talking to Skrull and they change into him and everything. And she walks up and they immediately like love each other. They're just like, oh my gosh, how you doing? You're so great. You're so great. Thing. There's the game master, whatever he's called. He's eating cake and he's like, I love cake and everything. Oh, there's that little... Okay. Anyways, so they're sitting there talking and everything. He's all like, we're going to party. And she's talking about a planet that was destroyed before. And it was basically like he went to this planet, had a big party, and party ended up destroying the planet. So all these other people, he's DJing. I hate everything. Okay. So, and he's like foam and everything. She's partying it up. He's doing the thing. They get tattoos. Next morning, she wakes up to her phone ringing. And she goes to answer the door. It's this guy. I can't remember his name. And they got Darcy and it's Maria Hill. And she's like, I'm acting leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. And she's like, because Nick Fury went to go talk to him and Rock guy pounded him and he's still in a coma or whatever. Of course, she has to rule S.H.I.E.L.D. right now because girl power. Anyways, so she's sitting there and it's moved to France because one of the people were just like craving crepes or whatever. And so she's all like, we need to call in the big guns. So she's and Darcy's all like, oh, is that a beeper? My dad has a beeper. He's a podiatrist. Are we calling a podiatrist? I'm all like, these jokes aren't funny. This crap's not funny. The jokes aren't landing, in my opinion. It's just, and anyway, so it's Captain Marvel. Now, this part's fine. Calling Captain Marvel. She's, apparently the strongest being in the Marvel universe. Totally get that. You need to call in your big guns because this is obviously a threat that they can't handle. They couldn't take down Thor where they are right now. There's obviously no Avengers. He's inviting all the little thing. I like this little pink-haired girl right here with that stupid haircut that everybody's got now. Anyway, so he's invited everybody. You can see everybody. There's the Ravengers, there's Asgardians, there's Skrull, and then finally the Frost Giants show up because Loki and them are friends now. And he's all like, you brought the Frost Bros. So stupid. Oh gosh, I hate this show. So then they go. Captain Marvel lands in France, and she's like, "You need to leave." Then they get into a little scuffle right here, and she lands at the Stonehenge, and he knocks over Stonehenge, and then they fight some more, and then he, is trying to defeat her. Now, she's obviously more powerful than him, but she doesn't want to use her full power because later on you'll hear she's like, if I punch him, it'll cause a crater in the planet the size of, something or other. I can't remember. So he throws the hammer on top of her so she can't lift it because she's not pure of heart, because of course she isn't, because it's, it's Brie Larson. She's toxic. Anyways, so they're all laughing at her. And so Maria Hill's all like, they finally get to the point where they're just talking, and Darcy's so obnoxious because she's all like, oh, we should destroy one of the Dakotas, North Dakota or South Dakota. You mean you want to destroy a whole state that has people in it, Darcy? Darcy's a megalomaniac and a psychopath. She should be destroyed herself. Take her away. No one likes her. Anyways, so yeah, and she was totally useless in WandaVision. Come at me, Wanda Stans. Anyway, so then he calls her, Thor calls Jane, and they do this whole lovey-dovey thing. Jane does not pass the Bechdel test in this episode. So they're sitting there talking, and Jane's all like, I will not allow you to destroy a whole state or whatever she says. And she's like, thank you. You're done here. Howard the Duck's like, Mrs. Duck, you're back or whatever. So stupid. Anyways, so stupid. She calls Thor, but Loki answers, and he's all sitting there and he's all like, hey, you're his new main squeeze. And he breaks the phone. So then she's all like, why don't you just call his mom? So then there's shenanigans going down on Earth. They're destroying the planet, basically. Captain Marvel takes Thor away back up to Siberia or whatever to punch him. They use the satellites to boost their voice. And she's all like, Heimdall. Heimdall brings her to the thing. Then she's all like, we get ready to get taken down, little man. So then Jane shows up where Frigga is and tells her, like, you need to come and help Thor. Marie Hill has loaded up the nukes because she's going to nuke them. She's like, in case Carol Danvers holds back again. And I'm all like, what is going on here in this episode? They're throwing everything at but the kitchen sink. Oh, and the kitchen sink. So then Frigga shows up right as everything's about to come to a head. Frigga shows up in this little hologram. She's like, Thor, what are you doing? You're partying, aren't you? He's like, no, Mom, I'm studying. And she's all like, I'm coming there now. So he's all like, what? And everything. So she's like, ladies, I'm sorry, I have to leave. My son's, partying again. See you in 1,000 years. They get the St. Louis Arch, and they're going to make the biggest boomerang out of it. And he's like, no, you guys need to help me out. My mother's coming. And they're like, no, we're leaving and everything. And so he's like, party's over. Help me clean now and everything. Which I just go, Frigga doesn't come off to me like an all powerful being. Like, I feel like if you said Frigga's coming, I'd be like, all right, I'm still out, dude. I don't care. Like, you deal with it. What are you going to do? Blast me with your lightning? I don't care. So she's coming. She looks cool there. That's, animation's fine and everything. So they're cleaning up and she shows up and he's teaching his study group. And she's like, huh? He's like, Mother, yeah, we love the knowledge and everything. Carol Danvers shows up with an iPad and she's like, here's some stuff that you wanted to know and some NPR stuff, yada, yada, yada. She's like, thank you, Captain Danvers, for enlightening my son and teaching him knowledge and everything. The Thor hammer comes back. I forgot to get a screenshot of it. And it's got all these like Mardi Gras beads and stuff on it. It's painted. And so then he goes back to the desert where Jane Foster is. Knocks on the door, brings her flowers, and he's like, hey, I thought we had connection. She's like, fine, you can take me out on a date. He's like, I want to take you to a whole planet of nothing but unicorns. Even the waiters are unicorns. And she's like, fine, pick me up at 8. And then the Watcher's all like, then they lived what the Earthlings call happily ever after. And he's like, wait a minute, what's going on? I guess I was wrong. And then this little portal shows up. And it's Ultron's little minions. And then it's Ultron. And you can see he's got all the Infinity Stones. Dun, dun, dun. This is all building to a head. That's the problem with this show also. So he's got the Mind Stone and everything. And it looks like that's Vision. So Vision's inside Ultron, which is fine. But, okay, so this is hold on. Let me go back to Party Thor so we can, we'll just go back to this image. So I have it up here for a little bit. So this is my problem with this show. This episode sucked. Like, I'm so annoyed with this episode. Like, it's just a complete waste of time. This whole show is, because it's not very good. But the problem with this show is, or at least my problem with it. No, it's a problem with the show is that it's not okay. So what ifs were just one-offs in the comic books. And that's what I thought they were going to do here. Like, they were going to do a Captain Carter, or in this case, a Party Thor, even though I don't think that it keeps true to the comic books. But my biggest problem with it is just they're connecting it. This is all going to come to a head in the last episode. The last episode will probably be like the big huzzah where you get all the characters from each episode coming together and making like an Avengers team like we saw in the trailer, and they fight Vision, Ultron. And I go, that's not how it works. That's not how it was, in the comic books. And I know you're going to be like, oh, stop, gatekeeping. It doesn't matter what happened in the comic books, but it does. And this is why. The comic books were way better than this. And I don't think that AC Bradley is a fan. And I don't think anybody I don't think Kevin Feige was a fan of What If comic books, because he's allowing this to happen. I think that when it comes to the What If comic books, they were one-offs, and it was just, a one comic book thing, maybe 2 comic books, and then you're done. And that's what was so great about them. It was a confined story. And this looks like, to me, like it's going to be not a confined story. It's just going to be a build up to this fantastical little world. Now, In saying that, I'm fine with all these people appearing because they're going to appear in Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness, which that I'm fine with. Like Captain Carter is going to show up, all that stuff I'm fine with. I'm just a little annoyed with this show because it's not very good. It's written badly. The writing's bad. The animation is like mediocre. Sometimes it's pretty good, but it's mediocre for the most part. I don't know. I just don't like it. And I'm not going to cover season 2 because it does have a season 2, but I'm only covering season 1. Maybe I'll cover season 2. I don't know. You never know. All right. That's my breakdown review. I'm sorry. I'm a Debbie Downer. Okay. But I just can't like something that I don't like. I'm sorry. I'm trying to like it. I'm trying to like everything. I don't like any of the Marvel shows that they put out so far. And it bums me out because Hawkeye's next, and I thought that looked good from the trailer, but I'm scared that it's not going to be, and I'm just going to waste more time. All right, I'm done being a Debbie Downer. All right, listen, if you like this episode, tell me why you like this episode. I really want to know. I want to know why you like this show. I want to know why you like this episode. I want to know all of it because I am trying my hardest to like it. I really am, but I just can't like what I don't like. Anyways, leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know, I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next What If breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Bye.